So we start now. Ula, thank you.
Thank you.
She's like a mother, a big sister to me. I mean, I love to come here. I feel so loved and so pampered. And thank you very much. For me, love moves me. For me, love is the key to the divine energy. You know, where there is love, where there is welcoming, you just want to be there. It's a joy. It's a joy to serve anywhere where you feel love. It's what moves us, yeah? Love moves all of us. The topic today is, let me see if I'm right. Is it finding happiness within, Gita?
Yes.
I keep thinking it's the other one, right?
Change it then.
No. We have to stick by what it's there. And, I don't look at these things, Finding the happiness within or peace within? Same thing. Okay, the subject is finding the peace within ourselves. And why do we have to find the peace within ourselves? When we go out in the world, we start off as young teenagers, very excited about the world, what the world has to offer us. In fact, when we're children, we can't wait to be 18. Do you remember when you were 11 and 12? I'm gonna be 18 so I can be more independent. And then dreams of meeting the knight in shining armor, or the woman that will take you to the end of the earth with love and romance. All these dreams we have, and we start off life thinking that the outside world can make us happy. So many of us and most of us spend all our time wanting the outside world to be happy, but life soon shows us that is really the contrary. When we find our knight in shining armor or the woman of your dreams, you actually have to work very hard. Harder than you've ever worked before in your life to make things work, And then happiness comes when you put the right work into it, and many sacrifices and much giving. It's not the ideal picture that we paint as children. And then we have losses, losses of family, losses of people die around us. Then disappointments and dreams that we've had as children, and they all just dissipate in front of us. And then all the illusions we have of the outside world crumble. And at this point, many people get depressed. And the question they ask is, what for? So many people come into my office and say to me, Nalanie, what is it all for? What is the meaning of life? I get up and it's suffering. Yeah, there's some good parts, but it's, on the whole, we turn on the news and it's fearful. We go here, somebody's lost somebody, and everywhere we see suffering. Children are now having many panic attacks. People come out of university and there are no jobs. People who've always had high positions now have lost their positions. What is happening in our world? And I tell them, something really very interesting is happening in our world. We became so outside. In our journey through life, we've become so outside. Everything has been outside. Everything directed at material, touching, feeling, enjoying. Everything outside, that we haven't remembered to nurture our soul. Our physical is only here for a short time. So surely, knowing that our physical can't really be who we really are, can it? It's only here for a short time. So the first thing we have to understand in finding the happiness within is to understand who we really are. We are spiritual beings having a journey in this physical body, and not the other way round. When we do it the other way round, we get caught in the suffering. We get caught in the outside world. The outside world, my master always said, is like a university. We come here to learn. It's university. Schools that teach us about life, about the world. Unfortunately, today universities teach you about, very technical things, not all academic knowledge and not practical knowledge that we need to live in this journey called life. So what happens? We lose touch with our soul. We lose touch with our spirit. And so we lose touch with ourselves. And then we feel lost, and we can't understand why. So many people say to me, I can't understand why when all I've done is good in my life. I've sacrificed for my family. I've sacrificed for my friends. Why is all this happening to me? And I have to answer them. Buddha says there are 4 noble truths. The first one he says is, there is suffering. The second one he says is, there is a reason for the suffering. The third one he says, and you can discover the reason while you're alive. And when you understand it, you become free. Sri Patanjali, in the yoga science of courses that I give, that you asked, says, to a man or woman of discrimination. What does that mean? To somebody who thinks and uses their brain and asks, discrimination, what's right, what's wrong, who studies life, who analyzes things. To a man or woman of discrimination, all things are painful. Why? When you get what you want, you develop the fear that you will lose it. When you don't have what you want, you crave for it. And so it's like a never-ending journey with the outside world. If you understand that life is a series of pain and pleasure, it's part of the play. Black and white, cold and heat, suffering and non-suffering, that everybody has to go through these dualities. Then what happens? You will turn that pain, you will switch it around and use it to your advantage. And you will start to go internally. You stop looking at evolution of everybody else, including yourself. And you start to look at involution. You will learn that the outside world cannot make you happy. But if you are happy, then you can change the outside world. Bad situation happens to all of us. We have 2 choices. Simply 2 choices. I always tell people, make it easy for yourself. Don't complicate yourself. If I do this, da-da, this can happen. Da-da, so many buts, ifs, that's what people tell me. But no. So no, make it really simple. Don't get emotional. Just make it simple. Simplicity is the truth of finding happiness. Keep your mind simple. If I grieve and feel sorry for myself and become the victim, who suffers? Ask yourself that question. Who suffers? The answer has to be correct, Shakti. I suffer. If I choose to accept a negative situation and change it into positive, who benefits? I benefit. Keep it really simple. You see, the mind is like an instrument. And because we're surrounded by so much negativity, the pull will be towards the negative. Our journey is it's the challenge of going beyond the negative and rising above duality, good and bad alike. Why? Because when something good happens to you, like I say, you get attached to that good thing, then you develop the fear of losing that good thing, and then there's another agitation. How many times people, they I want a new home, I want a new home. They get a new home and they're panicking. Why are you unhappy? I go, didn't you want this new home? But you know, Nalanie, what if this happens and what if this breaks down? They have already grown so attached to that new home that they're fearing, what if there's a fire? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if a thief comes in? Do you see? So by getting even what gives us pleasure, we also fear losing it. Our family, isn't that the worst of all? We love them so much, the people around us. And we grasp on thinking that's forever and ever and ever. I remember my husband and I, we at the last year of his life, when he retired, we used to walk every evening on the boulevard by the beach. Every evening. And we used to see old couples with canes. And we laughed. So, when we get old, we'll hold hands and we won't use the canes and we'll help each other. Never happened. A year later, he died. So you can make as many plans, but there are certain things we can never plan. So what do you do with this? Do I sit the rest of my life and feel sorry for myself? No. I have to pick myself by myself. Why? Again, who benefits? If I don't pick myself up, my poor children will suffer. Oh, poor mom. They'll never get their life sorted. Because I worry about poor mom, she's all alone. Poor mom. Do I really want to destroy their lives too? No. And you see, when you think in a positive, selfless way, sometimes you feel like being the victim. You feel like crying. I mean, there were many times I just wanted to hide. In fact, the first few days I told my son, I said, can't I just close my eyes and hide for 10 days and not see the world and just cry and go under the blanket? And he goes, no, Mom. Then he said, because you have to move house before I leave. He was living in Hong Kong. I have extended 1 month. Then he turned around, but he said, Mom, if you can't deal with it, don't worry, I'll stay, I'll extend. Then I thought, what am I doing? I'm destroying his life just for my selfishness. So if you can't do it for yourself, then the unselfishness for somebody else, the love for somebody else will make you do it. So every morning he'd go, Mom, and I go, I'm getting up, 8 o'clock. And in 2 weeks, we did a new apartment, electric lights, the whole thing done up. In 2 weeks, put showers in, everything. We just worked. And that was helping me so much. And I could free my son, because I didn't want him to worry about me. So, you see, by finding happiness within, our lives have to come from a very selfless place. It's not just about us. It's just not about why me? It has to be about a team, like I spoke about yesterday. It has to be for everybody, the good of everybody. Why? Because if we live in this world, there is only one real thing we can leave behind. You know that? One thing that will make a difference. One thing that will change. We can have buildings and property that we can leave behind when we die. But you know what? Like I said yesterday, your children will all fight over it. But if you leave behind love, you leave behind a great legacy. They will talk about you, enjoy, and you give them the gift of being so proud to have been your children. You give them that gift. What a nice gift to give a child. I am so proud. They're so lucky to have parents like that. See, you leave something behind. Then they become healthy. So ultimately, to find real happiness within, the first thing we must consider is stop being selfish. What for? So many, my master always said, so many I, me, mine, I need, I want, I need. What happens? All these minds will burst in your head. Haven't you noticed? When you want something so badly, there is no peace. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? You have no peace. I want this person to love me, but they don't love you. But I want them to love me, but they don't love you. What you gonna do? Hit them in the head? Drop it and go somewhere else, Oh, my husband left me 22 years ago, and you're still angry? You've married another person and you're still angry? Why are you carrying it? How can you be happy? How can you be happy? Let go. Non-attachment is the second clue to finding a happiness within. And how can you really understand non-attachment? Many people misunderstand this word, non-attachment. They feel, oh, it's very cold, I can't be attached. No. Non-attachment actually means you let go, you free others to be what they want and who they want. By freeing somebody else, what do you do to yourself? You're not clinging. You're not holding. You're freeing yourself. If you don't free yourself, you will live in anger like this woman who came to me 22 years. 22 years her husband had left her. Both of them have new children. Both of them have new partners, and she's still angry. So how can she enjoy her present life with her husband, new husband, when she's still remembering the old? Do you see? I see this over and over again. And this is all attaching our minds to think that the outside world belongs to us. Non-attachment is understanding nothing belongs to us. Nothing. The Bhagavad Gita says, what were you born with that you are going to take with you? You came with nothing, and you will go with nothing. So what are you clinging to? All these things outside that are making you so unhappy, so agitated. So what do we do in the world? My real feeling is our place in this world is to find happiness within. And once we find that solidity and that happiness within, then no matter what the outside world gives us, good or bad, we'll say every moment is a gift. And if it's bad, this too shall pass. If it's a gift, I'm enjoying my gift. I'm going to have fun with it. You know, so many people, when they get gifts in life, no, I can't take, I can't have. Why? Enjoy what you're given. It's a gift from the gods. And if you don't have, enjoy what you do have. It's the gift from the gods. You know, yesterday we spoke so much about how blessed we all are. We all have what we need. So, first step, again, a third step is then once you know that nothing belongs to you. Does anything belong to you? Can you answer me? Really? Does anything belong to you? Forever and ever and amen? Anybody?
No.
Do your bodies belong to you?
No.
Sort of.
That's sort of, while you're living, they belong to you. So who is the you that inhabits your body? Who is the you that inhabits your body? Who is the you that inhabits the body? Who is the you that leaves the body when you die? You know, these are the questions we ask. And when you ask those questions, you have to understand that you start to understand that your energy that inhabits this body, call it soul, call it spirit, call it what you like, and it's energy. You know, the Indians, with the Sanskrit word, we use prana, which means cosmic energy. Prana leaves the body. So that leaves the body. So that is who you really are. But while we inhabit the body, how to find happiness in this world, this fickle world. One day somebody loves you, next day they can't stand you. One day this person's your close friend, next day they're gossiping about you. One day this woman is saying, I love you, next day they're having an affair, or the man is having an affair. How do we find solidity in this crazy world we live in? The only way is to find it within yourself. That way, when life attacks you materially from the outside, you can look at it from a very peaceful point of view. Very peaceful. And you can maintain your equanimity of mind. Doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It doesn't mean you won't feel sorrow. But the sorrow will not control you. You will control it. If sorrow or pain controls you, you will forever be agitated and forever a victim of your life. If you are able to control your sorrow and pain, then you will always be the leader of your life, and you can always be the director of your life and take your life and create a much better picture. That is the only choice we have. We don't have any other choice. The only choice is whatever comes to us, how are we going to make the best of it? For me, that's the only choice. If you want to grumble and complain, I tell some people, say, oh no, I can't do it. Fine, no problem, it's your choice. Go be miserable. When you're miserable for a long time, when you get fed up with your misery, come back. Take your time. Really, it's really up to everyone. I'm not here to change anyone or fix anyone. What I'm here to tell you is that when we recognize the journey simply, and we just sit down quietly and think of the truth, the real scientific truth, the real spiritual truth, then we have to rethink the way we find our joy. We have to rethink the way we find our peace. And go, oh my God, how did I think like this for so long? You know, am I illiterate that I didn't even see so clearly before me? So clearly before me that really long term nothing is fine. It's all on loan. So then you start to spend some time with what is eternally yours. What is eternally yours? And you start to look within. And most people come to me at a point in their lives, at their very blackest moments, at the deepest darkness, when they have suffered a loss or, some injustice or some disloyalty. And I always tell them, don't worry, this is your turning point. And really, from there, they rise. If they touch their spiritual self, when they get in touch with that source of energy, it's energy, the divine energy, or God, or whatever you want to call it. I'm really not bothered with words. When they get in touch with that source, I see they heal. But how do they get in touch with this happiness, this source? My master always said to us, do you know your birthright is to be happy? Do you know why you're not happy? Because your problem is attachment. You think everything is yours. But your birthright is to be happy. How do you achieve it? How do you achieve it? First, try and keep your body, which is your temple. Keep your body, which is your temple, healthy. And that's why we do Hatha Yoga, the physical yoga. It works on your endocrine system. It also stretches you, and it also works on your astral body or your soul body. I'm not going to go into that today. I'm sorry, are you being disturbed back there? Yes? Are you all right back there? Is somebody playing with a toy or something? Okay, well, can they go to the children's room or something? So sorry.
Would you like to come with me, please?
Is that better? Because I see people are a little disturbed. They're okay? Oh, children, would you like to come here and sit near me?
They're sitting there having a good time.
Are you? Are they happy?
It's the chair. It's the chair. It's the leather chair.
Would they like to sit here near me? I would love to have them here. Would you like to sit in here? I'd love to have you.
Why don't you go and sit with Nalanie? She loves children.
Yeah, come here. Would you come here? Come, let me
Turn the phone here, please.
come. Tell me, what is your name?
Isabel.
Hi, Isabel. It's nice to meet you. And what is your name? Oh, no. What did you say again? Olivia? Nice name. I haven't heard that name before.
It's Olivia.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Would you like to sit there? It's nice and cozy. Yeah, you'll be nice and warm. Or would you like to sit on the floor with these two lovely ladies or with Shanti? Okay, good. Perfect. She's going with you, Shanti.
Oh, hello, sweetie.
Okay. Okay, you can sit there. Thank you for being so good. You'd like to meet with your sister? Okay. Come. Thank you. They're princesses, Shanti, so we have to look after them.
Beautiful little angels.
They're princesses, yeah. Thank you for being so quiet. Thank you for being so respectful. And thank you for coming to the talk. I know it's sometimes a little boring, isn't it? Yeah. Totally. So, if you get tired, you just lie on Shanti's lap, and then you just close your eyes and relax, and you'll be so happy. Would you like to do that? Brilliant. Yes, they're tired. Yeah. What good girls. I know. Thank you. Thank you, girls. Thank you, girls. Okay, they're very comfortable now. So what were we talking about? Happiness within. Energy. What energy?
Wasn't it?
Okay, well, yeah. So going within, I just said focus again. Yeah. And then we learn that nothing outside is going to make us happy. We learn that we can take responsibility for our life. When my master told me that, and he said, Nalanie, you can wear dark glasses or you can wear rose-colored glasses. It's up to you. It's up to you. You can go and pick which glasses you want to wear. You can make your world a heaven or hell. And I learned this very quickly once when my niece, who was going through a very traumatic time when she was younger, came to stay with me. She had a lot of fears and anxieties, and my sister said, can you help her? And she was staying with me for a month, and one day she walked into my sitting room, and she goes, Auntie, no, all I see around me is negative, dark energy. And I go, are you sure we're in the same room? Because all I see around me is light and joy. So who's right? You or me? And it clicked. It suddenly clicked in her head. Oh my God, it's my mind. Because I was trying to teach her that because her mind had such negative thoughts, she saw the world as negative. But she couldn't understand it. She couldn't understand it. So this had to happen. Suddenly, she understood it. It's kind of like, it was really interesting when we were in Sweden. Ulla was trying to look after my shoulders because I have a bad shoulder. And she put some lovely magic potion on it. But with that, we had these old white tape in our country house. The Band-Aid, the old type that really sticks to your skin. So after the third or fourth day, my skin became really, really soft. And I couldn't get the plaster out. So I go to Ulla and I said, Ulla, I think it's hard. So she tried. I said, no, don't do it. It's too hard. I think I'll just have to rip it out, right? So I did, ripped it out. And of course, along with it came out my skin. It was really quite funny at that point. I really had to laugh. It was really painful, but really funny. Because Ulla goes, oh my God, it's white underneath. Do you remember? She goes, and then she's about to cry because I hurt myself. No, you hurt yourself, I'm sorry. No, I was laughing because her thing was, we're all white underneath. We're all the same. It's just a coat. And at that moment, you know how when you hear things for years and years and years, and this is how realization happens, and suddenly it dawns on your soul and dawns on your spirit that, you know what, we're really all the same. It's like God put, like she said afterwards, like put a paintbrush, you know, and make a brown skin. But underneath, I'm exactly like all of you. We're all exactly like each other. And it was such like, oh, we really are one. We really are one. You know, why the wars? Why this? You know, and it was quite realization. And many times when we start to contemplate, why aren't we happy? We introduce ourselves to our soul, which we'd forgotten. You see, in the olden days, people had a lot of quiet time. So when you have quiet time, you can hear the thoughts that go in your mind. You can hear them because you're with yourself. And there wasn't so much to do. They worked when the light started in the morning. They went to bed when the light went. Today, we drive ourselves for so many hours non-stop that we're so busy doing. For what? To get a nervous attack or to get a panic attack? To do for what? And sometimes we're just doing. We don't even know what. And then you finish the end of the day and people come so stressed. And I go, but why do you work so hard if it brings you no peace? Why do you do all those things if you can't even laugh and have fun with life? There's no fun anymore. People don't know how to relax anymore. People don't know how to be anymore. They don't know how to sit on a breakfast table and say, I love you, darling, good morning. Isn't it a nice day? No, hurry, have your breakfast, let's go here, let's go there, we go to, kids have to be dressed, kids, rush. Do you know, there's no time to just enjoy your toast. You know, Ula and I have a ritual every morning with our breakfast. It takes us at least 1 hour. We love it. You know, we pray. And then the toast is so delicious. And the coffee, you taste it. You know, you actually enjoy everything. And then say, oh, I'm so happy to be alive. Yeah. And we enjoy being alive. And there's a meaning to life. So simple. It's so simple. We've forgotten to be simple. We've forgotten to look at the people around us. And that's why the outside world is there. It's actually there so that we can learn to make the best of it. But because we're very selfish and we want the outside world to please us, it's always about us, we lose the joy of it. But when we can get up in the morning and get up with a thought, what can I do to make the world better? What can I do to make my family better? You see, it's coming from within out, not outside within. Oh, why didn't you do that for me? You didn't wash the dish, you left a mess there last night. You're already angry, even before you started the day. And you can imagine what the day is going to be like after that. It's just going to be downhill. But if you just ask when you start the day, what can I do to make you better? Feel better. How are you, darling? Did you sleep well? Immediately the response will be, are you okay? Did you have a good night too? You know, after a while when you learn to live life, they don't even want to tell you about themselves. They want to find out about you. Why? Because they reflect your goodness. We're all about reflecting each other. So on a very practical way of finding happiness within is just to awake on a very practical way and just say, what can I do for my family today or my friends today? And you know, what can I do to make somebody laugh? First thing you can do is wear a smile on your face. You've already changed the person's day. So simple. When you make somebody smile and laugh, you are left with a reflection of that return smile. So who gains? And many people go around with long faces and they, oh, nobody likes to be with me. I said, can you blame them? Look in the mirror. I don't want to be with you. It's only because it's my job. And then they start laughing. They actually see the comic part of it. You know, you walk around with a grumpy face, who wants to be with you? Life is already hard. Aren't we here to lighten souls? Aren't we here, isn't that the journey? To have some fun? Wasn't this the Garden of Eden? And we could decide to eat from the tree of knowledge. That knowledge is spiritual knowledge. It's not an apple, don't eat the apple. But what's the divine saying? If you keep the apple for yourself selfishly and not share it, then you will suffer the consequences of it. You're not going to take it with you anyway. Never forget your spiritual self. Never forget who you are. What the yogis say? We are eternal. We never die. We never die. Energy cannot die. The body can, but the energy cannot die. So learn to feed this energy, this soul, while we're alive. But when you feed your soul while you're alive, there's a joy that comes. There's an inner happiness. That's why all the great saints and sages tell us to love all, serve all. It's actually very selfish. It is really very selfish, because when you are loving all and serving all, you end up the lover of all. You end up the happiest. But if you try to pretend to love all and to serve, like many people pretend to do charities, but it's really to raise their own ego and their own self-importance, you can see they'll never have happy faces. I've met so many people who run charities and organizations in the world. In the name of serving people, they're always arguing with themselves. I don't understand it. Isn't service supposed to be joyful? Because what is their focus? I am the one running the charity. I have to be the most important. Well, a lot of nonsense. Without a team, you can't do anything. I also learned that lesson once. I tell this story because it's such a truthful story. It takes a long time to learn these great truths. But like the plaster, sometimes it just hits you. Many, many years ago, I was speaking in Hong Kong, my early days, one of my first or second talks. After the talk, we had about 120 people that day, so I didn't know many of the people there. They were new to me. A young girl came up to me, and she said to me, "Oh, Nalanie, I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you." And I looked at her and I said, "For what? What have I done for you?" She said, "You've saved my life." I said, "Excuse me, do I know you from before?" And she goes, No, it's the first time I'm meeting you tonight. But a few months ago, she said, I was thinking of committing suicide. And then a friend gave me this cassette. In those days we had cassette tapes, really old-fashioned, We weren't into CDs yet. She said, a friend gave me a cassette. I listened to the cassette and I realized I don't want to die, I want to live. I've got to make changes. And I said, but I never sent you that cassette. And then I suddenly saw before me. I spoke in Gibraltar. Shanti and somebody called Susan at that time, an American girl, she's gone back to America, did the taping. They put it on a cassette. My niece in Hong Kong asked them if they could send her something of mine that would help one of her friends in depression. She gave it to a friend who it worked on. That friend gave it to this girl who was about to commit suicide. And I suddenly saw the whole picture. Without any of them, that girl would not have been saved. Do you see the truth of it? I may have done the speaking, but if they weren't part of that link, this girl wouldn't be saved. And I suddenly saw how incredible this world is. Also I remember one of the realizations I had in my early days, even before I started teaching. Prior to that, I was always criticizing, complaining. What a waste of my life, I know. The only thing I regret is spending so many years complaining, instead of enjoying. Now, the last 20 years have been, every year gets better. Yes, I've had the worst pain, as Ulla said, my family has gone through a lot of pain in the last 4 years. But I also see it's been my greatest moments the last 4 years. Do you see? I can see pain and pleasure hand in hand. And I'm so grateful for that knowledge. I am so grateful. And then when I see my good friend here, Chandra, who also lost her husband 16 weeks ago. And she's dealt with pain and well, I wouldn't say joy, but at least a bit of peace in those painful moments, sitting here traveling with us. You know, just 16 weeks, and she was madly in love with her husband and him with her. And I go, oh, wow, the science works, you know. She's able to do this, you know, transcend the pain, as I was. So the science works. It's going within, finding happiness within works. And then you see many people who have taught over the years, you know, they actually transcend pain. They feel the pain, but they're able to look at it and say, you know, I'm going through a really difficult time, but you know, I have the divine within me. I know I will get through this. So they don't drown. And then, when life gives its gifts, when you don't drown, lots of gifts are given to you. You can breathe again, right? That's the first thing. When life gives you those gifts, you can really now enjoy them from a much deeper level and a much greater level and a greater understanding of it all. So that work to go within, that work to realize that we really are all one. We really are all one. We're really connected. Then what happens when you really realize that? Oh, you know what? You're really my family. We're all white inside. If I cut, and then another time, another lesson I learned, I have the scar here, which I love. I had a huge cyst, my hand, so I had to do local surgery to remove it. This again, my early years. I'm very grateful for these lessons because they make you think. And I remember the doctor put local anesthetic, said, don't look. I said, doctor, I know I never looked before, but I really want to learn about who I am. He really thought I was nuts. I want to know who I am. So I need to look. Is it okay? He says, if you feel like throwing up and get queasy, just turn around. No problem. I did get queasy, but I didn't turn around. I wanted to look. And when he cut my skin open, the cyst was really huge, so you can see inside. And I go, oh my God, it's just like chopping chicken. Do you know? It's like that. It really looked like that, you know? Because in my early days, before I turned vegetarian, you know, we used to make turkey at Christmas time. So you know how you take out the things and, you know, you took out the cyst like that. And I thought, oh, I'm no more but meat and tissues, you know, that's all I am. And for me, that was a great realization. This was just matter. I really got it. This is just matter. And so when you have these realizations, then you want to turn within. You have to ask the questions that Ramana Maharishi, the great Hindu saint, he was illiterate, but he asked the question after one of his family members died at the age of 18, who am I? You know, when you go through great sorrow, you have to ask, what is life? What is life? Who am I? And by constantly asking this question, he became enlightened. But as I said earlier, nowadays, we don't have quiet time. We don't even have quiet time to ask people who live with us how they're feeling today. How are you? Are you well? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do to make your day better? I love to say those words to my children. I say, is there anything I can do to make your day better? So they in turn do it to their friends. Do you see? It's a chain reaction. What can I do to make you laugh? What can I do? It's also exciting to think that way. You're like thinking, oh, what can I do to make everybody's day better? You know, and if I can't, what can I do to make myself happier? Because also I don't belong to me. So I also have to look after me. I also have to make myself happy, because if I'm not happy, nobody's going to be happy. So what can I do to make myself happier? And I have found that when I sit down and stay in quiet and feel that great energy we call God inside of me, and how do I identify, how do I know that peace when it comes? And I think everybody in that their lives have experienced this moment of bliss. Sometimes it's so short. Maybe you're walking on the beach, or maybe it's those animal lovers or garden lovers tell me that they experience this just suddenly. But we don't have enough of those moments because we're surrounded by noise these days. So I tell all the people in the modern world, because we are surrounded by noise and we're surrounded by action, 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 what is the work we have to do in this day and age? Is find quiet. Is to find quiet time.